Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Xander, and today we're diving into a topic that can save you a ton of stress. Budgeting. Let's be real, nobody actually the word budget, right? It sounds restrictive, boring, like you're stuck eating ramen noodles for every meal. But trust me, it doesn't have to be that way. Whether you're trying to get your finances in order, saving for something big, or just want to make sure your money is actually working for you, budgeting is a game changer. So let's break it down and make it easy. First things first, let's talk about why budgeting even matters. I mean, is it really that big of a deal? Well, yeah, it kind of is. Because without a budget, it's way too easy for your hard-earned money to slip through your fingers, you know? It's like that saying, out of sight, out of mind. If you're not paying close attention, you spend a little here, a little there, and before you know it, your bank account is looking emptier than you expected. And that, my friends, is a good feeling. But when you budget, everything changes. You're no longer in the dark about where your money's going. You're in control. You're telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. It's all about being intentional with your finances. Think of it like this. If you were going on a road trip, you wouldn't just hop in the car and start driving without a map or a destination in mind, would you? No way. That's basically setting yourself up for disaster, or at least a whole lot of unnecessary stress. Budgeting is like having that roadmap for your money. It helps you set your financial destination, your goals, and figure out the best route to get there. Now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. How do you actually create a budget? Don't worry, I'm not going to throw some complicated spreadsheet system at you. We're going to keep it simple and effective with the 50-30-20 rule. This is a budgeting strategy that's super easy to remember and gives you a clear framework for how to allocate your income each month. Here's how it works. 50% of your after-tax income goes to your needs. These are the essentials, the non-negotiables. Things like rent or mortgage payments, utilities, groceries, transportation, insurance, and any debt payments you have. Basically the stuff you absolutely need to survive and function in the world. Then 30% of your income goes towards your wants. This is where the fun stuff comes in. Think dining out, entertainment, hobbies, shopping, travel, that new gadget you've been eyeing, basically anything that brings you joy or enhances your life but isn't strictly essential. And finally, the remaining 20% of your income should be allocated to savings and debt repayment. This is the important part, guys. The stuff that sets you up for a solid financial future. This includes saving for an emergency fund, retirement, a down payment on a house, investing, or paying off high-interest debt like credit cards. The key here is to be disciplined about putting that 20% away each month before you even think about spending it on anything else. See how simple that is? Just divide your income into those three buckets: needs, wants, and savings/debt, and boom! You've got a solid foundation for your budget. Chapter 3. Tips for sticking to your budget. Okay, so you've got your budget set up, you're feeling good, but now comes the real challenge: sticking to it. I know, it's easier said than done, but don't worry, I've got your back. Here are a few tips that have helped me stay on track, and trust me, they really work. First off, track your expenses like a hawk. Seriously, knowledge is power when it comes to budgeting. You need to know where your money is going so you can identify any areas where you might be overspending. And there are tons of ways to track your expenses these days. You can go old school with a notebook and pen, use a spreadsheet, or download a budgeting app like Mint, YNAB, you need a budget, or Personal Capital. Next up, automate. Remember that 20% we talked about for savings and debt repayment? Make it automatic. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your savings account or debt accounts as soon as you get paid each month. This way, you're less likely to spend that money because it's already spoken for. It's like paying your future self first, and trust me, your future self will thank you. Another great tip is to get creative and cut back on unnecessary expenses. This doesn't mean you have to live like a monk and deprive yourself of all joy. It's about being mindful of your spending and finding areas where you can trim the fat without sacrificing your happiness. For example, do you really need that daily $5 latte, or could you brew your coffee at home and save a few bucks? Could you try cooking at home a few more nights a week instead of ordering takeout? Look, I get it, life happens. Unexpected expenses pop up, you might have to adjust your budget from time to time, and that's totally okay. The key is to stay flexible, roll with the punches, and keep monitoring your progress. If you find that your income or expenses have changed, don't be afraid to tweak your budget accordingly. Chapter 4. Adjusting your budget as needed. So, you've been crushing your budget for a few months, you're feeling financially fit, and then BAM! Life throws you a curveball. Maybe you get a raise, woohoo, or maybe an unexpected expense rears its ugly head. Car repairs, anyone? What do? Well, the good news is, your budget isn't set in stone. It's a living, breathing thing that can and should be adjusted as needed. The key is to stay flexible and make those adjustments while still staying true to the overall principles we've talked about. If you get a raise or a bonus, congratulations. That's awesome. But before you go on a spending spree, take a moment to think about how this extra income can help you reach your financial goals faster. Could you increase your savings rate? Pay off debt more quickly? Invest more? Remember, the more you can put towards your financial goals now, the better off you'll be in the long run. Now, on the flip side, what happens if you encounter an unexpected expense or your income takes a hit? Well, this is where that emergency fund you've been diligently saving for comes in handy. That's exactly what it's there for, to cover those unexpected costs without derailing your entire financial plan. But what if the unexpected expense is bigger than your emergency fund, or you're facing a longer-term income reduction? Don't panic. There are still options. First, take a close look at your budget and see if there are any areas where you can cut back temporarily. Can you reduce your want spending for a while? Negotiate a lower rate on your cable bill or insurance premiums? Every little bit helps. And remember, this doesn't have to be forever. It's about making temporary adjustments to navigate a challenging situation. The key is to be proactive and adapt as needed. So there you have it, folks. Budgeting doesn't have to be complicated or stressful. It's all about being mindful of your spending, setting financial goals, and making a plan to achieve them. Start small, find a system that works for you, and stick to your plan. I promise you've got this. And the best part? When you start budgeting and taking control of your finances, you'll be amazed at how much calmer, more confident, and less stressed you feel about money. It's truly empowering. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more financial tips and tricks. And drop a comment below. What's one thing you've done to stay on top of your budget? I'd love to hear your tips and tricks. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Happy budgeting!